Perseus and Helen exchanged a smile, while Andre glanced at him. After breakfast, Perseus was cornered by Andre again. "Your Highness, may I ask what brings you here?" Perseus smiled. Andre's expression was somewhat tense. "I wanted to tell you something last night, but I didn't find the opportunity. I think it's something you need to know." "What is it?" "You've probably heard of Bayan, right?" Andre said. "He's a very famous adventurer in Eagle Peak City. He's said to be a 7th-tier mage. You seem to have stayed in Eagle Peak City for a while now, so you must have met him." "Yes, I have seen it." Perseus nodded. "Don't you think he looks a lot like someone?" At this point, Andre became nervous, but his eyes were burning with conviction, as if he was convinced that Perseus knew some inside information that he did not. "Oh, really? Stop playing dumb. You know who I'm talking about." Perseus shrugged. "Your Highness, please don't get agitated. I was shocked when I first discovered it too. I tried to investigate that person's background and find out why he looks so much like my woman, but unfortunately, I failed." "Failure? You will admit your failure." Andre frowned. He was bothered by Perseus's description of Ivisa as his woman. "Anyone can fail. What's so hard about admitting that?" Perseus said dismissively. "But aren't you the kind of person who never gives up until you achieve your goal? Even if you encounter setbacks, you will find a way to solve them," Andre said. "I don't believe you'll just give up like that. Your attention to that person is definitely greater than anyone else's. I demand that you share your achievements with me." "Your Highness, I swear to the gods, I really have no results," Perseus said innocently. "I really wanted to get to the bottom of this, but Ivisa strictly forbade me from doing so, so I had to give up." Andre hesitated. "Why?" "She said she didn't like that person and told me not to like him either." Andre fell into deep thought. After a moment, his expression turned serious. "Even if we don't care about Bayan's appearance, his powerful strength is a threat that even my uncle is quite wary of. His mystery also makes it impossible for us to determine whether he is friend or foe. If we cannot find out his identity, it will put us in a very passive position and may even lead to the failure of this mission. This is something we absolutely cannot tolerate." "So what does His Highness mean?" "We must figure everything out before entering the ruins of the gods," Andre said. "Perseus, I need your help, and you cannot refuse." "But Ivisa said, you are now an official of the Empire. You must be loyal to the Empire." Andre frowned. "If you refuse to be loyal, I will report your performance to His Majesty." "All right. I'm sorry, I don't want to do this, but I really need your help," Andre said. "Although I don't like you, I have to admit that you have many merits and are a useful talent. Thank you for your praise, Your Highness. Go and discuss it with her. Once you've reached an agreement, come to my room." Andre left. Perseus's troubled expression ended there. He really wanted to find out all the secrets of Bayan, but Ivisa wouldn't allow him to do so, and he couldn't go against her, so he could only suppress his desire. Now that His Highness the Crown Prince has personally named him, he has a legitimate reason to do what he has long wanted to do. Perseus turned and walked toward Ivisa's room. But before he could take 2 steps, Lovia blocked his way. Lovia crossed her arms, her expression indifferent. "What did he say to you?" "This involves Imperial secrets. Ouch." Lovia raised her long leg and kicked him hard in the shin, almost making him lose his balance. "Is it an Imperial secret that I would tell you?" Lovia sneered. "Tell me, is it about her?" Perseus shook his head. "It's a man named White Flame." "White Flame?" Lovia was taken aback. "A man? You're new here and don't know much about Eagle Peak City," Perseus explained patiently. "Bayan is a very powerful adventurer here, but his background is mysterious. His Highness the Crown Prince wants to investigate his secrets, so he asked me for help and wants me to assist him." "Is that really all?" Lovia frowned. "If you don't believe me, you can ask His Highness the Crown Prince yourself." "Shut up." Of course, Lovia wouldn't ask. Perseus obediently shut up, his eyes filled with helplessness. "I want to go too," Lovia said calmly. Are you deaf?" "I want to investigate that White Flame too," Lovia said impatiently. "Miss Lovia, I'm afraid this won't work," Perseus said. "Bayan is a 7th-tier mage, a formidable character. We're not going to play with him. If a conflict breaks out, we won't be able to escape. Even if he's powerful, would he dare to attack His Highness the Crown Prince?" "That's hard to say," Perseus said. "Eagle Peak City isn't the capital. The people here don't have as much faith in His Highness the Crown Prince's authority, especially the adventurers. They're all reckless. So, this isn't as safe as you think. It's really dangerous." "I'm going even if it's dangerous," Lovia said stubbornly. "But His Highness the Crown Prince wouldn't agree, would he?" "If you go and talk to him, He will agree, Lovius said. Since you said he needs your help, then you should say that you need my help, or you won't go. He will definitely agree that way. How can I not go? Perseus said with a strange expression. His Highness the Crown Prince has already spoken of his loyalty to the Empire. If I don't go, he will tell his Majesty. Do as I say, Lovius said. Why should I? This is so unreasonable. Perseus argued his case forcefully. With a cold face, Lovia shoved him against the wall. Her icy yet stunningly beautiful face drew closer to him, and the fragrance emanating from her body invaded his nostrils even earlier, making his head spin. Perseus wanted to stay sober, but he underestimated Lovia's allure to him. This attraction is deadly. Do as I say, Lovia repeated, her tone cold and unyielding. Their lips were almost touching, just a hair's breadth apart, and the fragrant breath she exhaled stirred a storm in Perseus's mind. The world spun around. Perseus was furious. He never expected that this woman would dare to play such a trick, and he was completely helpless against it. In that case, let alone just asking him to tell Andre to take her with him, he would not hesitate to die for him. That damn woman. Yes, Miss Lovia, Perseus said softly. Seeing his gentle and considerate demeanor, Lovia's lips curled into a cold smile. She felt both contempt and smugness towards him, along with an unprecedented sense of triumphant victory. She used to think he was a cunning and treacherous wolf, but now she sees him as nothing more than a little dog. With just a little trick, she made him submit and dare not act recklessly. They're not difficult to deal with at all. Lovia gave a cold laugh and kissed Perseus on the cheek. Perseus covered the spot where he had been kissed, his eyes wide with disbelief, his cheeks burning slightly. Don't get me wrong, this is just payment, Lovia said expressionlessly. Now, you know what to do, right? No, I'll be waiting for your good news. Lovia's gaze was meaningful as she strode away. Perseus remained stunned for a long time, then suddenly made a decision. Last night, he told Helen that he didn't care about winning or losing, but now he's changed his mind. He had to have this woman no matter what. On the other side, Lovia strode confidently, her expression aloof and arrogant, like a graceful swan taking a leisurely stroll. She walked alone for a long time, not even knowing where she was, but that didn't matter. Suddenly, she slammed her head against the wall, but blocked it with her arm before her forehead hit it. She kept pounding the wall with her other hand, trying to cover up the burning shame and resentment in her heart with the continuous pain. What have you done? What have you done? What have you done? Lovia growled in a low voice, her face flushed. She had just done something so inexplicable that even she couldn't believe it. Not only had she pinned a man against the wall, but she had also kissed his cheek. She felt no shame at the time. In fact, she was quite proud of herself. Now that she thinks about it, she wishes she could travel back in time and strangle that version of herself. That's really too much. Lovia, are you crazy? Lovia muttered to herself, her violent movements gradually subsiding. You clearly hate that guy so much. Why did you do this? You think you've got him under control? He's probably overjoyed. He might even be fantasizing that you're interested in him. How despicable. Just thinking about that man's smug expression makes her want to swear even more filthy words. However, his panic and wavering emotions at that time did not seem like an act. This shows that he was indeed completely fooled by her methods. Her lips curled up slightly, then quickly fell back down, her expression becoming even colder. That which is right, you can't delay any longer otherwise, she said softly. Chapter 187, A Powerful Confession. When Perseus entered the room, Ivisa was reading a book. She sat at a small table by the window, with a thick book on her lap. Her long, flowing white hair was swept to one side, revealing her delicate profile and crystal-clear earlobes. Her gaze was fixed intently on the book, her face expressionless. She neither likes to wander around aimlessly nor chat with people. Reading is almost her only form of entertainment and hobby. In her apartment at the Imperial Magic Academy, she read those dry and boring magic tomes that would make most people dizzy after just one glance, but she could read them with great interest for an entire day. But Perseus guessed that she didn't really need to read. She just wanted to pass the time. Even without a book, she could sit quietly all day without saying a word, at most just looking at the scenery. She seemed to have gotten used to being alone. During her time away from the capital, she barely spoke a word to Winnie and Katie. Although Winnie tried to talk to her, she could only give up each time, disappointed by Winnie's indifferent expression. Carol tried to communicate with her at first, but could only give up in despair. As for Katie, come on. However, Perseus doesn't believe that a person has to fit in or be liked by others. He sees being alone as a life choice, and as long as she doesn't feel lonely or sad because of it, he's willing to let her be. Besides, she still has him. She can't possibly be lonely even if she wants to. Perseus watched her quietly as she enjoyed this peaceful corner of her own, and although he had something to discuss with her, he couldn't bear to disturb her for a moment. His breathing was silent, and he seemed to be non-existent. But no matter how hard he tried to hide his presence, Ivia noticed him the moment he entered the room. After so long, they still hadn't come over, which made Ivisa look over. She simply glanced at him, and in that instant, Perseus was completely captivated, his heart seemingly stopping. So beautiful. Even though he could see her every day, even though he could see a side of her that no one else would ever have the chance to see, he still felt a shiver and palpitation because of her beauty. She was that kind of girl. Every move she made was beautiful and graceful, like a poem or a painting. Therefore, he never blamed Jerome and Andre for being so infatuated with her, because it was only natural. He himself was no less infatuated with her than either of them, and he felt no shame for it. On the contrary, he was very proud, able to be deeply intoxicated by her beauty, and in an instant, he forgot everything, including himself. Ivisa was slightly taken aback when she saw Perseus like this. It seemed like she hadn't seen him like this in a long time. Since their master-slave relationship began, Perseus has either been lecherous and lustful in her presence, or he has pretended to be lecherous and deliberately provoked her. Even when he looks at her with a serious and seemingly peaceful expression, his eyes reveal an indescribable, domineering, and unreasonable possessiveness that is undisguised. It's rare to see such pure, unadulterated gaze, as if admiring a rare treasure. Subtly, this gaze only made her more bewildered. She quickly lowered her head, her heart pounding. Suddenly, Perseus chuckled softly. Ivy couldn't help but glare at him. Perseus slowly walked over and squatted down beside her. "Baby, I have something to discuss with you." "What is it?" Ivisa asked, her face tense and cold, trying to hide her sudden, inexplicable panic. "His Highness the Crown Prince just found me and asked me to do him a favor," Perseus said. Ivisa's gaze was cold. "Could it be that he wants you to act as an intermediary and persuade me to meet with him?" Perseus shook his head. "How could that be? Even if he knelt down and begged me, I would never agree to such a thing." "That's good. You should know my attitude towards him, which is no attitude," Ivisa said expressionlessly. "I don't think I have anything to say to him, and I don't want to hear anything he says to me." "I've always understood that," Perseus said softly, kissing the back of her hand. "If it's not that, then what is it?" Ivisa asked. "He wants to investigate that white flame and wants my help," Perseus said cautiously. "I know you don't want me to get close to White Flame, but he gave me this order as the Crown Prince, and we can't afford to break ties with them for the time being." "Didn't you already have a plan? Why ask me again?" Ivisa's voice was indifferent. "If you don't agree, then I will refuse him no matter what," Perseus said quickly. "In my heart, your orders are the most important. As long as I can truly obey you, that kid and his father are nothing but bullshit." Ivia couldn't help but smile slightly, but her tone remained calm. It's best not to let others hear these kinds of things. "Of course." Perseus's smile was sweeter than honey. "Do as you think. I also really want to know what kind of person that is. I know it's important for us to figure that out, so I won't let my emotions get the better of me. But, Perseus stared into Ivisa's eyes, but she looked away. "But I can't fall in love with him." Perseus's expression was strange. Ivisa glanced at him. Perseus shook his head and chuckled. "Honey, why would you think I might fall for a man? You haven't confirmed whether he's a man or a woman yet, have you? But even if he were a woman, I might not necessarily fall for him," Perseus chuckled. "Just because he looks like you?" Ivisa looked at him without saying a word. "Baby, I like you as a person, not your face," Perseus thought for a moment and added, "Of course, your face is also a part of you, so I like your face too, but I can't like you just because of your face, and naturally I can't like someone just because they have a similar face to you, without even knowing whether they are male or female." "It's hard to say," Ivisa said. "Those girls don't have my face either, and you like them too, don't you?" Ahem. Perseus was slightly embarrassed. "I don't care if you like them," Ivisa said.